Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another nonfiction day. It is Wednesday. It is just before 9 a.m. Typically, Wednesdays are reserved for podcast recordings, meetings, things like that. I try to reserve all meetings and events and stuff like that for Wednesdays. Today, no meetings, no events, no things I have to go to, no podcast recording because my co-host is currently in a play. So, I have the day free. And instead of playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure, I decided to actually do some work. So today we're going to be focusing on nonfiction writing, particularly the proposal that I am in the middle of putting together. I mentioned it on, a previous one anyway, when I was finishing writing the sample writing. I am currently in the middle of putting together a proposal for a new project, a new book, that the idea of which is to be able to very easily sell what it is that I do as a nonfiction researcher, writer, but in a way that doesn't take 5 years, which is what my long-term research projects do. My ideal schedule for my life would be that I would be putting out one of those really long-form research nonfiction books about once every 5 years or so. And then in between that time, I'd be putting out smaller nonfiction writings that don't require me to do field work. This is one of those small projects. I say small, it'll still take me like a year to write everything. It's still a book, but I don't have to do 2 years worth of field work in order to complete the book. So that's the idea behind what I'm doing, is trying to set that up to be what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to actually achieve, that ideal schedule. Anyway, we are in the middle of doing that proposal. So far, I have the introduction and overview already written. I have the table of contents of the book already brainstormed and completed. I have all of the information about the format of the book already written and in the proposal. I have written the sample chapter / sample writing to attach to the end of the proposal. I do need to edit that, but the actual words are done. So what needs doing for this proposal is I need to write out the synopsis or overview of each individual chapter. Yes, this is something that you have to put in book proposals for nonfiction, so I need to write through the chapter outlines / synopses. I need to look at comparative titles for the marketing of the book to be able to say this is kind of what this is like. I need to look over my bio. I already have it written. I use the same one for a lot of things. However, I tend to do light edits in order to make it feel much more for this particular project. And I also need to make sure that it's up to date with the things that I've done. So I need to do that. I need to edit the sample writing in order to make sure that it reads well and actually put that then into the proposal. So that's a lot of stuff to handle for today. My light goal would be to edit the chapter, do the chapter outlines, and throw in my bio by the end of today. My long-term goal would be to also do the comparative titles. The comparative titles is one of those where it could be really fast and easy. It could take a while. It just depends on how easy it is to find comparative titles. That's our goal today. My ideal situation would be that I can actually finish the draft of this proposal today. I can edit it, make sure it reads well, that everything flows well, that it all makes sense, all of that kind of stuff. I can do that next week and the week after, with the goal of maybe starting to actually send this proposal out to places the beginning of March, which my initial idea was that I wouldn't be doing this until the beginning of April. So being able to shove that up a month would be really nice, but it does require me being very on the ball today. So we will hopefully be able to achieve that. We're doing chapter outlines first. That's the immediate goal. So chapter outlines, let's go. Hello. You're at a weird place on my desk, but we're gonna go with it. We're gonna save this real quick because, oh, my heater's on. Sorry. We just finished doing all of the chapter outlines and well, I guess synopsis is a better choice of word than outline. And that equaled about, I need to change the title of one of them because my working title was definitions of everything, and that's just not catchy, so I gotta fix that. But that means we have written, oh geez, 2,193 words. That was a lot more than I was expecting, I will be honest. We have finished the outlines, so that was a big chunk of time and energy. So the next thing that we need to do is to edit the sample writing, which I have somewhere. I will find it. But I have the chapter printed out because I find it easier to do line edits on physical paper than like digitally. So we're going to do that, and we will hopefully also be able to do both the bio and the comparative titles. That wore me out. I should have done that in 2 chunks, I will be honest, but I didn't. I just powered through. I did it. I'm now tired. So we are going to reinvigorate ourselves by going, it is 11:23. It's about 11:20. So we're gonna go for a nice long walk. I normally walk for about an hour when I go for walks, so roughly. So we'll go for a walk, and then we'll come back. It'll be time for lunch. We'll have lunch, so it'll be a nice long break. So we'll come back here after lunch and do the rest of the proposal. Hopefully, if not the most of the proposal. So let's shut everything down and go for a walk. I think that would be nice. Okay, I am back from my walk. I've got tea. Well, I've got the kettle going. I'll have tea in a bit. It is 10:01. So I think the first order of business is to actually read through my sample chapter as it is and make any kind of line edit notes that I need to make. I'm then going to make those changes in the computer and then move that file over into the actual proposal. And then we'll do the other 2 aspects of the proposal, which would be the bio first. And then if we have time after all of that, we'll do the comparative titles. So I think I'll do the chapter first and then do the bio because the bio should be pretty quick. And then we'll see what time it is and check in at that point. So almost done. We're almost done. Let's use blue. Blue feels nice. All right. So, hold on. Where are my notes? As far as what we did today is concerned, we wrote the chapter outlines, we edited the chapter sample, and we spruced up the author bio. It was pretty much already spruced up because of a different proposal that I tried to write. So I didn't really need too much editing. So I'm pretty happy with that. I need to do, well, I thought I needed to do comparative titles. It would probably still be good to just have, but because this proposal is not being sent to publishers, things are slightly different. So let me explain real quick. My whole point in doing this was to try to get a nonfiction book agent. I also want to publish the book, don't get me wrong. But a lot of it is to try to get a nonfiction book agent. Now, I have published 4 books. 2 of them were academically published, so I don't know if that really counts, but I have managed to publish books, traditionally published general nonfiction books without an agent. I find that it is a wee bit easier to do that with nonfiction than with fiction. That being said, a lot of my reason for wanting a nonfiction agent is because I'm just really tired of doing literally every single thing completely on my own. I have to make every single decision, from the really giant things to the really small things, and I'm starting to get decision fatigue because I'm doing it across a lot of different projects. I'm doing it for all of my nonfiction, I'm doing it for all of the fiction, I'm doing it for the podcasts that I do, I'm doing it for the YouTube channel that I run, I'm doing it for everything, and it is starting to get tiring. It's just starting to get tiring. I know that ultimately I will still be in charge of making those decisions, but having somebody who I can toss ideas at, who can give me their 2 cents, or who, when I say, oh, I'm struggling with this idea, it's not really formulating well, they'll kind of actually have something to say back, which isn't really what I have right now. I need somebody who's in my corner, even if it's just to rub my shoulders and go, you're doing all right. I need that. So that's why I'm wanting a nonfiction book agent. That, and it will help to expand boundaries of where I can go and what I can do with the work. So all of that being said, some of the things that I need in a proposal for a publisher, I don't necessarily need it for an agent. So for example, when I'm normally putting together a proposal for a publisher, one of the things that I need to have is a publicity and marketing plan. I don't need that when I'm just pitching to a agent. They need to know a load of the other stuff about the book and about me, but they don't need to know about what my marketing plan is or my publicity plan. They don't need to know any of that kind of stuff. And some of them do ask for comparative titles, some of them do not. So I'm going to make a list of comparative titles probably at some other point in the week/month, just so I have them as notes. So if somebody does ask, I do have it, but if somebody doesn't, I'm not going out of my way to, especially because I looked it up before finishing and deciding to not do this. And of like the 5 agents I have on my list, none of them ask for comparative titles. So I just don't think I'm gonna bother with it right now. It feels like more work than I need to do. It is 2:00 on the dot, 2:00. I'm very proud of that. I mean, granted, I was chatting for a bit there, but it's 2:00. I am going to call it there in terms of all of this work and this vlog. I'm going to be doing a little bit more of admin-y stuff and answering emails and things like that to finish off the day. But yeah, I think that's a proposal basically done. The next step for the proposal, which I probably won't film, is just to a really quick second, third, I guess at this point, read through and just really make sure that it all sounds good. There's no typos. It all reads well. Everything that needs to be there is there. I don't have any notes to myself like, hey, insert info about this, because I do that So I need to do that and go through all of that and make sure it all reads clear and well and concise. And then we start sending it out to places. So that's something to look forward to. More clearing. Thank you for being with me and all of that kind of lovely stuff. And I will see you next time. Bye.